Good evening, everyone. I'm going to start today's class with solution to differential equations. Let me write down here solution to differential equations. Now, I have this differential equations. Most of you would have learned it in your lower semesters or PUC level or somewhere else where it is related to any application. Now, the differential equation is entirely characterized by a continuous time system. What I mean by this is if I have a continuous time system, whatever may be, so this is an output and I have the input as x of t here, this is y of t, and this one is x of t, and you can have y of t in terms of the successive differentiation or a single differentiation, which is d by dt of x of t. Next we are going to have d squared x of t divided by dt squared. So similarly, we know that we can have order of the equation and degree of the equation also. Now, a simple differential equation can be characterized like this: a naught d by dt power n. Yes, yeah, this is the output equation what I'm writing, and I need to differentiate. Yeah, so plus a1 d power n minus 1 y of t, and I have d t n minus 1 plus a2 d to the power n minus 2 y of t divided by d t n minus 2. So like that I'll be having many such equations, and that would be equal to, okay, so that would be equal to x of t. So I may have any such equations which is of this form. So this is the differential equation form that is there, differential equation form, and we need to get the required way in which a differential equation is to be found, and we need to apply whether the roots are real or distinct, and we need to just get the characteristic equation just before that. Now let me move on to the solution of such a differential equation. We can characterize s power n as d by dt power n, d power n here. Got it? So the above equation, I mean the equation which was written as d by dt, so it can be transformed as a naught s power n plus a1 s power n minus 1 plus a2 s power n minus 2, and so on, and we can write a n minus 1 s plus a power n s power 0, which means it is 1. So I can write it in this way, and I can have a y of t that would be equal to x of t here. So if I want to find out the two types of responses, you would have generally got it. A response is nothing but y of t. So I have the total response of the system as y of t, and if you have come across somewhere where you will be having with input considering and without any input, so I have the first one without any input consideration. I have the natural response of the system. Natural response of the system. Next, I have the forced response. Forced response. Got it? So this is how I'll be finding the total response of the system. This forced response of the system is dependent is dependent on the input applied, on the input signal or the input that is applied. So next we have the natural response where no input is applied. No input is applied. No input is applied. So I can say that the total response of the system is a sum of natural response, yeah, natural response, and the other one which includes the input, I can generally call this as the forced response of the system. I'll be calling this as the forced response of the system. So if I want to have the roots of the characteristics equation, so it would be in the time domain what is to be considered, and I'll be having the characteristic equation like this. I'll have a power a naught, yeah, sorry, a naught s power n plus a1 s power n minus 1 plus, yeah, up to this point you will be having plus an, that would be equal to 0. So this I can generally represent as the characteristic equation. Characteristic equation. Okay, so this is where I'll be getting the characteristic equation, and I want to find out what is the natural response. Okay, so what did I do here? If you observe carefully, I said that, or I kept the input at 0. So the input here is set at 0. I'll be having the natural response of the system, which is given by yn. So I can write it as yn of t, that would be equal to k1 e power s1t plus k2 e power s2t plus k3 e power s3 into t, and so on. I'll be having up to kn e power sn t. Got it? So this is the natural response of the system, what I can write it. So S1, S2 and S3 are generally called as the roots of the characteristic equation. Roots of the characteristic equation. Roots of the characteristic equation. So where k1, k2 are generally determined by the constants which are considered as k1, k2 and k3 are generally considered as the constants, where it will be determined, it will be determined with the help of, it will be determined with the help of, yeah, with the help of the initial conditions, with the help of the initial conditions. Now if I want to write down this natural response of the system, I don't have to consider the input. I make the input to be 0, but I have the constants here k1, k2 and k3, and s1, s2, s3 which is that. I'll be writing it as the roots of this characteristic equation. So where s1, s2, s3 and sn, whatever may be the degree of it, will be having similarly, like I can take 2 roots or 3 roots maximum. I can have these roots of the equation which is from the characteristic equation. So s1, s2 and s3 are said to be the roots of the characteristic equation, of the characteristic equation. So this is how I can determine the natural response of the system, and k1, k2, k3 can be determined by the constants by making the specified initial conditions in the total response of the system. So these initial conditions are found out by the initial, I mean the initial conditions from the total response of the system. Now you have yn of t. What is yn of t? Yn of t is the natural response of the system. Once I have this natural response of the system, so the structure of it is one important thing, where it is characterized based on the roots of the equation. So I have real and distinct. So real and distinct. So I have, let's say R would be the roots there. Okay, so this is the root of the characteristic equation. root of the characteristic equation which is there. Next, I'll be having the form of natural response. The form of natural response. The form of natural response. So I have k e power rt. Next, what is the second thing that we have? So we'll be having the roots which is complex in nature and also conjugate. So what do you mean by conjugate? Anyone in the meeting? What do you mean by conjugate? So it is the change in the sign what you can exhibit. So I'll be having alpha plus or minus j beta, or I can have sigma plus j something other term which is there. Okay, so I can write it as omega also, or you will be having a plus j omega. So this is something which is related to the complex conjugate. Got it? So what is the form of the natural response? I have e power at. So a here which is corresponds to the real part of the system, e power at. Next you have a k1 cos of omega t plus k2 sine of omega t. Got it? So this is the complex conjugate. So next, the third one, in order to determine the roots of the natural equation, I have a real part and we have the repeated part. Real part and the repeated part. So what it means, if it is repeated p times and along with the root which is already there, so it is r1 r2 which is same, or we'll be having r1 r2 r3 which is same. So I can have p which is there, it is repeated twice along with the original one, and that is the reason why we have r power p plus 1. R power p plus 1. So what is that response? It is e power r t into k naught plus k1 into t plus k2 t squared, okay, plus up to kp t power p. So this is the natural response, the form of a natural response which is there. For real and distinct, it is k e power rt. For complex conjugate, it is e power at, k1 cos omega t plus k2 sin omega t. So next, when it is real and repeated, we have e power rt, k naught plus k1 t plus k2 t squared plus kp into t power p. So I'll be having an example where you will be getting these types of the real and the distinct roots of the characteristic equation, or whether it is a complex conjugate or it is a real and a like repeated part. So you need to remember this tabular column, and you need to fetch the appropriate natural response of the system, so which is k e power rt and so on. So we have such systems in the like. So next we have the forced response of the system. Got it? So once we have forced response, forced response of the system. So what happens when you have forced response? So I'll write it here. I'll be having y f of t. So once I have y f of t, so which arises this response, or there is an output of a system where you will be having it depends on the input. It depends, or you can say that it is arising, or such response will arise due to the presence of input. Due to presence of input. So it is entirely based on the characteristic of the input signal, what I'm going to refer here. So it has to satisfy the differential equation. If you have a u of t or r of t, which is a unit step function and a ramp signal, so what would be the forced response sketch? So as I told you that we have the steady state response of a system, and also we are going to have the total response of the system. So in any stable system, in any a stable system, we are going to have we are going to have okay, so you have the first one, which is the transient response. We have the transient response, plus we are going to have the steady state response. Steady state response. Steady state response. Now, so once I call this transient response, it is in a stable system. That is nothing but the total response of the system. What I am referring, this is the total response where it is equal to transient response plus steady state response. This transient response would be called as yn of t, which is the natural response, and this steady state response is the forced response of the signal, and this would be equal to the total response of the system, that is y of t. So y of t, which would be equal to yn of t and yf of t. So this is the total response of the system into consideration. Got it? So next we have another table where we are going to have, depending on the structure of the input, how the forced response, how the structure of the forced response will be dependent on. So first we have the structure of forced response, structure of forced response. Now, how am I going to find out the structure of the forced response? So I have input, next I have the structure, I have the structure of forced response, structure of the forced response. So what is the input that I'm going to give here? It is a general constant, so I'll be calling it as a C naught, and the structure of the forced response will be another constant, so which is different from the input. So it is another constant, another constant, another constant. Now we are going to have the second one, which will be exponential, that is e power alpha t, e power alpha t. So now I can have the c e power alpha t as the structure of the forced response. Third one, we have cos of omega t plus beta, where I'm going to have c1 cos of omega t plus c2 sine of omega t. Next, a fourth one, we are going to have e power alpha t into cos of omega t plus beta, e power alpha t into cos of omega t plus beta. So we are going to have e power alpha t times c1 cos omega t plus c2 sine omega t. So this is one thing what you need to keep in mind. And next, the fifth one, where we are going to have only one single term, that is t. One single term, that is t, which is a real and distinct type of a root, if you can remember. And this one is more or less like a ramp signal. So t would be a ramp signal. I have a c naught plus a c1 into t. Got it? So next, the sixth one, the type of the input, sixth one, a t power p. If I have t squared, t cube. Okay. Next, the seventh one, we are going to have a t e power alpha t. So for t power p, we are going to have a c naught plus c1 t plus c2 t squared, and so on up to c p t power p. Next, we are going to have t e power alpha t. We are going to have e power alpha t times c naught plus c1 into t. Got it? Now, what happens if the input? What happens if the input x of t equals e power alpha t, where alpha is also a root of the characteristic equation? For example, if I have 2, and on the input I have e power 2t. So this is a root of the characteristic equation, root of the characteristic equation, and this is also associated with the input, that is e power 2t. So once I have this, I'll be having the forced response. The forced response must be must be multiplied must be multiplied with multiplied with t power m, multiplied with t power m. Got it? So this is the input what we are going to give, and this is the structure of the forced response. Structure of forced response. Got it? So this is how we are going to find out different structure of the forced response and also the natural response, and together we take it into consideration, and we are going to find the total response of the system. Let us solve a simple problem based on this. I have i have first one, evaluate the forced response, evaluate the forced response of the following systems. Forced response of the following systems. I want to find out y dash of t plus 2 times y of t, that would be equal to t u of t. So u of t, generally if I take, it would be 1. It is more or less like a right-handed signal. So y dash, see here, y dash generally refers to y dash of t, generally refers to a single differentiation that has been performed on the output y of t. So I need to differentiate it once, and y2 dash of t, it could be successive differentiation, that is d squared by dt squared y of t. Now, if I want to find out the total response of the system y of t, that would be equal to yn of t plus yf of t. So which would be yn, which is the natural response, and yf, which is the forced response. Next we have the natural response of the system, natural response. Next we got the forced response. Next, we have got the forced response of the system. So once I have this natural response, I want to find out the natural response of the system yn of t with input to be equal to 0. With input, I need to give input as 0 there. So what I can do here, I can have s plus 2, that would be equal to 0, and I have s to be equal to minus 2, s to be equal to minus 2. So I have the root of the characteristic equation, root of the characteristic equation as s, which will be equal to minus 2. S, which will be equal to minus 2. So I'll be having the forced response of the system also being evaluated, but depending on the root of the characteristic equation. So what would be the natural response of the system? What would be the natural response? If you can recall, I'll be having the root to be a real. So this root, which is a real and distinct, real and distinct. Got it? So once I have this real and distinct, I'll be having a constant k1 e power, what is the root of the equation? Minus 2t. So which is k1 e power minus 2t. So which is yn of t, that would be equal to k1 e power minus 2t. Got it? So this is how we are going to write the root of the characteristic equation, which is minus 2, and we are going to find out the natural response of the system to be k1 e power minus 2t. Okay, so this is how you will be writing the natural response of the system. Once, if you want to find out the forced response of the system. What will you do? You will retain the input. Got it? You will retain the input there. So yes, so if I have the input like this, which is yf dash of t plus 2yf of t, that would be equal to t into u of t. So I have the input to be t here. So what is the force response for an input of t? C naught plus C1 into T. Got it? So I'll be replacing this with here. And what is YF a dash of T? So I'll be having, I need to differentiate it, 0 plus C1. That would be equal to C1 there. So I have C1 plus 2 C naught plus 2 C1 into T. That would be equal to T. So I'll group the terms here and I'll group this term which is there. So I'll be having plus 0. Okay. So I can have this equal, yeah, this is 1 here. So I can find out what is C0 and C1. So replacing it, I'll be having a C1 plus 2 C0. Yeah, C1 plus 2 C0. What would be the value? C1 plus 2 C0. That would be equal to 0. Okay. Next, what is the next thing that I need to find out? That would be 2C1. 2C1. That would be equal to 1. So I have C1 that would be equal to zero point 0.5. So this 0.5 is here plus 2 into C0 that would be equal to 0. So what I'll do here, I'll take it this way. So I have C0 that would be equal to minus a 0.5 divided by 2. What is the value of C0? What is the value of C0 that you are going to get? Minus 0.25, which is C0, which is minus 0.25 there. So I'll replace both the C0 and C1. Replace both C0 and C1 with yf of t. We are going to get yf of t that would be equal to minus 0.25 plus, okay, C1. What is the value of C1 here? So C1 is 0.5 into t. So this is the forced response of the signal, which is yf of t that would be equal to minus 0.25 plus 0.5 t. Got it? So this is how I'll be evaluating the forced response of the system. So the total response of the system will be yn of t plus yf of t. I have got yn of t which will be equal to, yeah, this one, which is minus 0.25 plus 0.5 into t. I'll be having yn of t. What is the value of yn of t? I'll be having k1 e power minus 2t. So this is the natural response, and this entirely is the forced response of the system. So overall, I have the output of the system as y of t. Got it? So this is how we can find out the forced response and the natural response of the system. So we'll stop here, and in the next class, we'll be continuing with how we can find out the forced response and the natural response with initial conditions. So here we didn't specify any initial conditions, and we'll be specifying the initial conditions in our later problems. We'll have our next class in the tomorrow session. Okay.